Okay, straight into the meat of the topic, the meditation technique. Close your eyes, relax, and stay awake. Okay, so what happens when you do that? Closing your eyes, that tends to internalize your focus of attention. You're looking inwards, natural thing to do. Relax. What you're looking for there is the most natural state of the body, just the relaxed state. And there's a lifetime to learn about relaxation. If you find any kind of tension, just relax it. Don't be too concerned if you can't relax completely, because you won't. There's always more to do. And stay awake, maintaining mental alertness. And that's the crucial element. But what's to be understood about this particular technique? There's no forcing involved. So, staying awake is going to be hard because you fall asleep. You're going to want to. You've got to get comfortable, you've got to relax, and you've got to drift off, 100%. That's okay, not a problem. When you wake up, just continue. Well, now, what you're doing here, there's a natural process of understanding yourself. Understanding yourself is a very natural thing. It happens all by itself, but it takes time. Over the years, as you look back, you do understand things that many years ago you didn't. All you're doing with meditation is you're actively engaging and encouraging that process. So there's no other instruction, right, except whenever you notice you're trying to force, trying to make something happen, that's what you need to relax. Any kind of, even, I've got to stay awake. No. Just relax. Don't force. The long-term benefit of practicing in this way is that gradually you start to see how your mind works. It takes a long time. Meditation takes a long time because you need to see repetitions of things. You might have habitual fantasies or worries or agitations, and when you set aside a bit of time just to chill out, just to close your eyes, relax and stay awake, you find that it's the same things that keep coming up all the time initially. And when you start to ask yourself questions, well, why am I thinking these things? Where have these thoughts come from? That's when you're starting to introspect and you're beginning the process then of meditation. Now, most thoughts, if not all thoughts, that are repetitive, that are habitual, going around and around in circles, these things will be generated by some kind of emotional condition. There's some emotion which has driven that thought into existence. When we experience things first viscerally. We have feelings, we have emotions that come, and we think about them afterwards. The thinking process happens subsequent to how we feel about what we experience. So that's the natural process. The emotions inform you about reality. It's your primary contact with reality, is how you feel about things. So when you've got compulsive thinking, or when you can't stop thinking for some reason, and that might show up that you can't sleep. A lot of people are in that situation. Okay, well, what's going on there? 100% of the time is that there's some emotional feeling that's actually at the heart of it. Now, when you start to notice how you feel consciously in this awake condition, and and you do so repeatedly, you're starting to meditate then, because you're moving away from the thinking and getting closer to the source, which is the feeling, and that's non-conceptual. Right? You put your feelings into words, but if you're not trying to do that, if you're just trying to come with the feelings, you're dealing with things in a non-conceptual, or maybe call it pre-conceptual way. And that's the essence of self-exploration, because a lot of these emotions are in the subconscious and they drive our behaviour all the time, but we don't necessarily notice them. But they do dictate what we think, how we act, and that's the beginning of bringing the subconscious into conscious awareness, which is what this technique is all about. Now, it's a very slow technique because you're not forcing anything. You just want an attitude of just allowing things to be as they are and to notice them. And with extended practice, meditation isn't done for a few minutes a day and after a couple of weeks you can drop it because you're finished with it. It's a lifelong process once you get into it. And you're relying on your natural internal mechanisms. As I say, self-understanding is a natural process. Here you're actively engaging it. You're not entering some kind of struggle. Now, when you're thinking about things in a compulsive or habitual or repetitive way, I'm going to make an assertion here. 100% what's going on, there's something that you're feeling that you don't want to feel. You don't like it. You're trying to think it into some other state. And that's engaging in a struggle with yourself. And you're delaying understanding yourself. So that's the technique. And it's deliberately offered without any philosophy or belief system. You're engaging in your own personal self-discovery, and you're doing it by just allowing. So just to repeat, close your eyes so you maximize the internal state in your perception. Relax, and relaxation is very key to all of this, because when you notice these internal tensions, well, why are they there? What's going on? Why are you carrying an internal tension? Right? And that's the key to seeing deeper into yourself. By relaxing, you'll find those tensions, and you'll also eventually associate with that the emotional state that is the reason for that tension. And then you will start to allow that emotion to come more into conscious awareness. And staying awake, well, if you fall asleep, you miss it. Yeah? So now, people are going to vary in their experience of meditation. People who carry deep personal traumas and are actively engaged in trying to feel better, suppressing the negative feelings or the unpleasant feelings, depending on how deep those traumas are and how painful things are, well, this is not an easy process, because people basically don't want to feel these negative things. They want to feel good all the time. Why it's meditation is that you engage in a process of accepting how you feel and using that as a starting point. It's not a self-diversionary process. You're not trying to get away from how you feel. You know, you're not seeking a blissful state. There are techniques out there, and there are practices, and people do achieve blissful states, but they're temporary. And it's it fails to solve the problems. What's needed is a willingness to feel fully. And closing your eyes, relaxing and staying awake is going to gradually place you in a state where you do feel things more vividly. And that allows greater clarity of perception. And that's the beginning of self-understanding. And that's why it's meditation.